Hello and welcome to Perspectives. The discussion started yesterday on is the civil society getting what they wanted from these elections? And it drifts towards everybody wants a strong leader, a leader who would take the problem head on, who would call a terrorist, who would call what's right, right, and what's wrong, wrong. But the discussion then obviously took a turn towards Mr. Pervez Musharraf because history feels that way. And a lot of Pakistanis even today say he was the strong one. He knew how to call a spade a spade. And also, if you look at a lot of his interviews in the Indian media or the Western press, he took on the challenge. He handled it very well. He answered he gave the right answers to all the questions. But then Mr. Imran Khan has also done that. He has taken these interviews, given these interviews, and he said good things, and he's given the right answers. But some of my guests felt, and that's probably right, that Mr. Imran Khan, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, is sort of not being able to say that who is the terrorist and they should be taken head on. Their perspective, PJ's perspective, negotiate. Go on the table. And history is sort of almost proving that, because even the United States of America is now at a point to say, we can't fight this forever, we have to negotiate. So Mr. Imran Khan says, I told you so, we had to do it. But, and a tangent discussion is, are we in a position to negotiate? Because the amount of beating we're taking right now, we're on the weaker side of the table. We have to be on the stronger hand to deal. If we go on the table with a weaker hand, they won't agree to anything. We would have Malalas being shot. We would have rules being enforced in Pakistan, which have been trouble spots in Afghanistan, in Swat, in Waziristan. We have had these problems. We've had the Taliban version of Sharia law not really be the Sharia law, and a highly oppressive and a disturbing period. So can we just do that? Can we negotiate with a weak hand? The discussion was fiery. The discussion was at length and needed more time. So we are continuing today. But the topic and the discussion is slightly shifting. Fine, we do not have strong leaders. Unfortunately, Mr. Pervez Musharraf is not in the run. Accept it. Maybe later on, once he's absolved of his accusations, he can come by election, but right now he's not. So the question is, who can do what to become the strong leader that the people want? My guests on the far right, Ms. Sana Salim, a blogger, a social activist, a strong voice. Thank you, Sana, for being here. Ms. Maryam Arif, again, somebody I met on Twitter, a very strong voice, a blogger, a microblogger, and she speaks her mind. Thank you, Maryam, for being with us. Ms. Atiya Khan, TV personality, a star. Thank you much for being here. Mr. Deepak Parwani, the Deepak Parwani is all I'm going to say to his introduction. Deepak, thank you very much. Ms. Maria Patel, again, a social activist, a strong voice, and again from Twitter. Twitter is the rule, I say. And on phone, a very dear friend, old colleague of mine, Ms. Aisha Alam from Vietnam. Aisha, thank you very much for staying with us. So I'm going to start with you. Given the leadership we have available, what do you expect from them that you would say, okay, here it is. Here's the guy.
Firstly, it's been 10 years that we're fighting this war. We still don't have a counterterrorism strategy. There's been no strategy whatsoever.
Or a policy.
No policy. There's no strategy. What is the role of individual intelligence agencies? We currently do not even have a joint intelligence agency sharing unit. The intelligence agencies in Pakistan are not working together on these issues. That's why you have conflicting reports, and that's why you have Rahman Malik coming after every incident, or used to be coming in after every incident, saying that we had intelligence reports prior to that. So how are these being processed? Regardless of whatever leadership we have, this matter is not about what leader can come on television and say what. We've had Bilawal come in and give video interviews and give webcam interviews and said the strongest possible things that he can. Has that solved the problem, or has that steered away from, or has that, steered the attention away from PPP, that they have done certain policies, or they have taken certain actions which brings them, which brings their politics into, in the light where they're seen as they're appeasing to the right wing rather than sort of fighting them.
The People's Party.
The People's
But
Party.
they're taking direct attack from them right now.
Right now they are, yes. But what I see was the turning point where this could have been taken heads on was the assassination of Governor Salman Taseer. At that particular time, when the People's Party should have just come and said, this is not about anything
Why
to
do you
do
think
with
they did
religion.
not? Why do you think they did not?
Well, it
That was a
because
categorical demand.
the government asked the normal people
What
to
you want.
formulate what you want.
And they
This
said,
is
remove the
not
government.
this is not the because they are not in the strategic position.
It's
This is not our job. You shall have your why we have selected you to choose the things best in our interest.
To do the right thing.
Yeah, that's why we have chosen you. So
Very well said. But in the last 5 years, none of you came out and asked your representative, what are you doing? No one bothered.
no one thing.
No, you did not.
Well,
Sana Salim will give guarantee that I have tried to do 100 shows, beg people to come. Please come and sit in front. Even today, I'm asking people to come and face the politicians. Everyone runs away.
Not really. No.
I'll come.
Not with you.
I'll come. I have no
I'll
issues.
come.
I'll come.
And
You are doing that today. But for years I've been trying this.
This is not the same. The laws shall not be like if they are in the form in the making of the laws. If you ever get into the making of the laws again, you shall minus this thing objective of religion from that. Like you need to take this out. Religion is a separate issue, and running of the state is a separate thing.
You know how
So there are so many
Do you know how easy that?
We
you
don't
know how
need to
easy?
teach Islam. Just
It's
run
not
good governance. That's all we want.
Don't tell me that it is easy to say. It's not
No, you're
easy
not
to
saying-
implement.
What-
Do not tell me
How
that.
come no one is listening and is assuming what I'm saying? I said, you know how easy it is to get it done? Just get enough popular support, it'll be done in a day.
That's what I'm saying. You need to
It's that simple. But there is a popular support out there today
Okay.
actually
Now,
beating me up on Twitter for saying, why do we
no,
have
Faisal,
weak leaders?
no, Faisal, then tell me one thing, that PP had the majority, PP won by the majority seats.
Okay.
This,
Fine,
No, don't tell me this.
majority, yeah.
They didn't have the, if they had the majority, then you
no,
can
nobody has the
in the
majority.
parliament,
Shut up, Jay. I need to take a
two-thirds.
short break. I need to take a very quick short break. Aisha, I'll take a comment right immediately after. I'm losing my voice. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us, watching Perspective. The arguments got slightly heated. My point, and I will say it, and I would like let everyone have their piece, is it is very easy to demand, and it is even easier to have it implemented. All you need are numbers supporting any idea, any demand. Somebody complained about the causes in the passport. We all forget that Mr. Pervez Musharraf had issued a different passport. It got severe opposition, and he had to bow down to that popular demand. Because those on the other side were sitting at home and saying, oh, this is so bad. Oh, they should not do it. But the people opposing it were standing on the streets in thousands upon thousands. And there was demand. And he had a supposed dictator, a general, whatever you want to call him. Even he had to give in because he didn't have a choice. That was the demand on the street. Mr. Ayub Khan. He left the government a dictator, true dictator. Army, Field Marshal Ayub Khan, not a general. Field Marshal. He walked out because of his popular demand to remove him. Mr. Pervez Musharraf, dictator, popular demand removed him. And he had to stay away out of the country for 5 years. That's strength of the popular demand. So if you really want these changes to happen, popular demand, overnight. Aisha, you were going to say something. Aisha?
No.
Okay, we'll take it just now. We have the last round. What would you say to what I've just said?
Actually, I do agree. It's not just the people. It's the kind of threats that we've been facing. It's not something that's just come up now. It's because of our past, because of the decisions that we made in history. When we talk about intolerance and why people are so intolerant, and just as I was mentioning before, it wasn't just the madrasa students that were out on the street. It was also Harvard, Yale graduates joining, Qadri group on Facebook and very openly talking about it as well.
Okay, right.
No.
No. Then?
No,
Oh, the Ilyas Qadri.
Mumtaz.
Mumtaz Qadri. I'm so sorry. All right.
And so, I mean, there's been, because of the curriculum changes, because of significant changes in the policy that has happened in the past 30 years. And even when we talk about civil society not being able to play its roles, can we really blame them? By banning student unions, by banning actual politics, actual grooming of, or a space where students can actually learn how they can influence policy. There's no space for that. We've categorically depoliticized the nation. We've categorically told people systematically, being an 80s child, growing up, I was told there are two things that you can never talk about: religion and politics. You can never touch them. So that's what I have grown up with. Now, can you really blame me?
Within our homes, we were told not to go. Right.
So how do we blame? And also that system kabhi kaam nahi kar sakta. The system is completely corrupted. Nothing's going to help. Nothing that you ever do will ever work out. So now that for the first time in our history, that we've had a complete 5-year tenure, and then now we are having a transition. It's supposed to be a smooth transition, apparently not. It's going to take time for each organ of the state, including the civil society, to understand how exactly we're going to play our role. And again, to the point of that, because we've been focusing on one specific thing, that is law and order. Again, the point about law and order, I don't believe that one person, one leader, strongly worded speeches can make any difference. It would be great and make me feel very happy, but that does not change the ground reality. We need a counter-terrorism strategy, and a counter-terrorism policy involves all organs of the state. It does not only involve how we're going to take military action or where we're going to take military action. It also involves various things like
strategic
for everything.
strategic
Yes,
for
I feel a
everything.
fantastic point, because this is time.
But do we have a consensus, really, that we want to take action? That's the problem right now.
I think there's a bigger problem. We do not even know who is the enemy. Because another interesting thing happened over the past 10 years. Another interesting thing happened. It started from Taliban, became Al-Qaeda, and then I challenge you all. There became so many names that you can't even tell which one's the good one and which one.
There's no good
totally
one.
Confusing.
How are any of them?
No, there was a good.
Can there be a good one?
But let me give you history. There was a good Taliban and a bad Taliban.
There was?
He's a good Taliban.
We don't believe
Taliban
that.
was
We're
one
just
thing.
telling you we don't believe that. We're just telling you the language that was used.
And the language is confused.
That's always being used.
And now no one can say it. Who's supporting who? Which bomb attack was done by who? And who was?
And who's taking the responsibility?
Who's taking the responsibility? So no one is actually saying, here's, and what I've been trying to say show after show, night after night, with politicians, for God's sake, at least say, this is the enemy. You guys can't even say this is the enemy.
In order to be able to do that,
and they're taking credit for these bomb blasts and the Hazara thing. They're identified.
Yes, people are believing this. Yet, like, I just don't understand
But
how the
sadly, members of defunct parties are running for election.
I want to say one thing about all of that you said, and she said a lot of interesting things. Okay, remember one thing: from being considered as one of the most dynamic nations in the world in the 70s, you've come out to be the hellhole of the world. Okay, I mean, really, you're like the phoda that refuses to go away. You know, every day there's you put some cream and it comes out again.
That's the notion.
Okay, that's the notion. We have to be positive in terms of how we look at a country. Okay,
Absolutely.
but we also must have people in politics who must inspire us, okay, as heroes.
But you can't demand that.
No, we're not demanding that.
And
Okay,
not rhetoric.
when you look at Pakistan's population, okay, and you said that if masses collect ho jaye, they can also go and make a change. They can't make a change unless and until they see somebody who's positive, who will allow them to make a change. Okay, right now that positive, exactly, that positive effect of that hero that we're looking at right now is Imran Khan. Okay, incidentally for all of us, and Imran better not disappoint all of us.
That's very scary.
Okay.
I'm not seeing him as a hero at all.
Okay. I'm just saying something. I'm saying because he's a new player. Because he's a new player, and everybody else has been tried and tested already. Okay, I'm just saying.
But he's not a new player. He's been there 15 years, and all he's been is an opportunist.
Okay, fine. Everybody's an opportunist of power. Okay. मुझे भी कल तुम डॉक्टर बना दोगी तो मैं opportunist बन जाऊंगा. डॉक्टर बनके क्या करूंगा? Okay. The fact of the matter is that if you look at our population, which is, the youth in today's day and age who's supporting Imran, okay, we're all looking for a positive change towards the 21st century, if not towards the 20th, at least the 19th and a half century. Okay,
but
because being part of the globalization that has happened through the internet, through the media, through the Twitter and through Facebook and through all of this and through how information travels really fast and so fast, you cannot be left behind anymore.
Listen, those 8 years of Musharraf was really the time where we were progressive, where we had respect internationally, where we could be proud,
So it
No,
was
it wasn't. He came
riding the wave.
No, but he came at a critical time where we could have been like Afghanistan and have bombs
I think
thrown at us like Iraq or
India might have, India might have criticized. This is what I'm saying. Somebody needs to be the bad cop. India might have been criticized. Okay, India might have criticized all those years ago and saying that Indira Gandhi was bad and they're very, very happy when she died. Okay, but it is Indira Gandhi's policies that has made India what it is today.
The momentum, yeah.
Absolutely. And the same thing goes for Margaret Thatcher.
I was about to say that.
Absolutely. Whatever we might say about Margaret Thatcher, whatever she did for England in those days is what they're reaping right now.
Very well said.
So, but like you said, that one leader needs to come on and make that difference. We might hate him, now that could be, we might hate him, we might annihilate him, we might tell him 20 years down the line, oh, he was, but he will make that difference. You need a strong leader like we were discussing earlier, but you also need somebody who's got the vision, the 5-year vision, the 10-year vision, the 3-year vision.
A grand
However long
plan.
the government.
A grand plan.
Okay, a grand plan.
Not
Because
just the vision, but also the action
The
plan
ability
that's available to the
the
government.
educational
to take
reform,
At least get some feedback on it.
the taking the youth and taking them forward. Okay, give them certain kind of a role model to play with. Give them heroes.
So what she's saying is it's not just about the vision and the manifestation.
There has
It's
to be
about
an
someone
action
who's
plan.
qualified,
To
who
implement.
can
And
actually
is
deliver.
competent, as actually competent.
Exactly.
We have inspirational people, but we can't make them the president or prime minister because they're not competent to do so.
They're not
They're the
experienced,
brilliant-
they don't have the
No,
background,
but that's
they don't have the
standard of Pakistan.
qualifications.
You've always had the wrong person for the wrong job.
That's
Always will
unfortunate.
be.
That's
That's the irony
yes.
of this country.
Because we love rhetoric, we love people who make these
We
emotional
do.
speeches.
But right now, we have a few new players who have their manifestos in place. What we need to demand from them right now, before the elections, is an action plan and not just a manifesto. I'm a marketer. I can make a better manifesto
I've been
with
saying that
fancier
every
words.
night.
With fancier
Manifestos
words,
are bought by
with
money.
more, absolutely, with more inspirational quotes,
roadmap
with
is what
verses.
we need.
It's the roadmap, and it's the feedback from the roadmap before the elections from the masses. And for that
Which they are
candidate-
hiding like anything because
Exactly.
they think that somebody else will go
because
come and
it's
hop
very
on it.
easy to take
Like
out
Mr. Imran Khan said, they'll copy paste my thing.
Yeah, that's
And
not
not
only
only
that,
that,
because even if they
Jan, if
copy
you don't
paste-
implement it and somebody else does, it's a good thing,
Exactly.
right? At least somebody implemented it.
But also having said that,
Mutual
and
benefit.
that candidate,
there's been a lot of emphasis and discussion on manifestos, and people, from what I have witnessed and from what I know, people have had much more emphasis on comparing different manifestos, looking
And
at
this is for the first
law
time.
and orders on
For the
one
first time.
manifesto,
Absolutely.
and judging,
Thanks to democracy.
and
Thanks
judging
to
people. So
democracy.
we've come
Fair
a long
enough.
way. For the
Fair
first
enough.
time, manifestos actually
Yeah.
matter.
People are reading.
In
They have
our
gotten
industry.
time to study
Yeah,
it.
people are reading them, people are comparing them, people are judging others for not placing certain things on top of the priorities than others are. Like, for example, people are judging PML-N for not putting terrorism or not even mentioning extremism in their manifesto even once, and comparing that to PPP as, talking about the needs of the basic people. That's important. That's what we need to learn. That's what we need to do. As people, we need to be able to, we need political parties who will invest the time to at least write the
To engage
manifesto,
us.
to engage with us, and to consider us as people who matter.
right. And I think the second point is
Political
also
parties don't engage at an intelligent level. Broad spectrum sweeping statement, but not a direct one-to-one.
specific, yes, but also to see, is this person capable of delivering? Do they have the qualifications? It's
But
anybody
it's
can
not
stand
just
up.
Can I say something?
You
You
have to
always-
by their
You know,
track
that's not
record.
wrong.
You
Why not
have
the
to
team?
go
Why
by
not the
people's
team?
track record
No, why not
and
the team?
experience.
Why not the team? Why we
Of
always
course the
say,
team,
when
yeah.
something bad happens, we always say, oh, it was General Musharraf's fault. The bad happened, Mr. Zardari's fault. That's not how it
The government
works.
signed play.
Yeah, government, there's an entire team that takes a lot of decisions. It's not one person who's taking decisions constantly. Okay, we just
And
tend to
also
blame
the
that one person.
Also, the civil society plays a very strong role. Like, for example, do you think that people in our assembly now are capable of producing the best law on workplace sexual harassment in the region? But yet they did. The law that we currently have is amongst the best laws. Why? Because civil society played a very strong role in lobbying, making them understand, building capacity, training,
and the women caucus
yeah.
went above party politics to come together.
And do that. So every single one of us and every single organ of the state has a role to play. And now that we have no interruption, we should be able to do that. And neither us nor the politicians should have an excuse saying, I'll be short, I can't say anything, and they're in the masses and I'm minority. That's not an excuse.
On that note, I would like to really commend the three parties who came out in the press conference, even if in personal interest. Maybe it was personal, maybe it was just rhetoric, but it was music to my ears.
Yeah.
Closing notes.
Coming together.
Closing notes. I mean, I've said this before, I'm just going to repeat the same thing. I think we're going through a transition. We've completed 5 years right now. I've definitely seen a lot of changes in the way politicians now engage with the people, even if it's just, even if it's just small things like coming online and being more active on Twitter. And, being able and responding, and responding. And we've seen their politics change with that corresponding. We've seen statements change. Imran Khan, for one matter, who was considered the king for introducing this interaction, has changed. You've seen him swung from not taking names to then naming LEG when nobody was naming Lashkar-e-Jhangvi. Then now not naming TTP. Who knows, tomorrow he'll come and name them. So whatever. Politicians need to know that when they come, they make a statement or they back up policy, it has repercussions. People are listening, people are judging, and people are going to respond.
And just a quick note. Very few people on Twitter really, but even they can influence a politician. Yeah. And MQM is there, not some from PTI
because it's a small window that nobody ever had. The small window that nobody has. You're no longer sitting in your air-conditioned cushy rooms in front of a camera. You're facing the real people.
Face the heat, exactly.
And people have the protection of anonymity and they can say whatever.
Exactly.
So this should be a fantastic political debate. Where all the leaders who are applying for this big job should be brought on in front of the presidential and prime minister debate, and it should be in front of all the people.
Well, Khan Saab isn't asking for it.
I think it's a fantastic idea.
Today even Rahman Malik Saab asked for it.
No, not only with Nawaz.
But there is news channels who've been broadcasting debates as well.
Yeah.
But not the top.
Not the top.
But I think it'd be great.
I think just as my closing notes, I would like to say I need access to my leader, to the one leader or a spokesperson, not just before the elections when he's trying to appeal to me and get the votes, but also after the elections when he's in the parliament, when he's the lawmaker, and he gives me the faith of actually valuing my opinion. And that's when I think most of us, the people in this room especially, would be able to make a bigger difference than they already are. I mean, I have to say hats off to Sana and Maria. They're doing a very good job on Twitter with the activists. We're not even that vocal, I guess, about with all our mundane activities, day-to-day activities. But we need access to them. And we also need the faith that, yes, we will be listened to.
Well, I'll go back to, the question that we came up with. Strong leader, that can take us into the future, that has a track record and, gave people a fair playing field, can take people with him. And, I think we have for me personally, we have a lot to look up to and learn from General Musharraf. I hope we give him a fair chance as a personal appeal to all the young people. And it's amazing to see the youth, 70% under the age of 30, 35. Sure. I mean, it's an opportunity for us to, really make a change.
When you say fair chance, I would add, give everyone an objective chance. Not a passionate, emotional, but be objective. Take the numbers, take the facts, see what he's done, and if he's done right, if he's done, go for it.
Be fair.
Yeah. I'm going to say aspire us or inspire us. And be innovative. I mean, this is your chance. You've got another 5 years. We are all here.
I've been saying new champions need to sing new songs.
Okay.
This is 2014.
Yeah. We are moving. We're in the 21st century and the world has moved on. And you can either decide to take us backwards for another 30 years or you can take us forward for at least another 5. And if you can do the right job and understand your youth, understand that you need to produce heroes and not uncouth and biased politicians, and you can do something for this country, something that
and we demand it.
And we don't even demand it. Something
become
exactly.
heroes.
So become heroes.
I mean, Mahathir Mohamad had a short stint,
but he's
like living
legend. I mean, unbelievable man.
I mean, they're amazing.
So, leave your stamp. Don't. I mean, you can take the cash if you like, but leave the stamp.
Well said.
Yeah.
Be a part of the political system by casting your votes. Be a part. But I don't see any point in listening to. I don't want to listen to the music of having a new Pakistan. I want to have this Pakistan, a better Pakistan. Please work on this. We don't want anything. We are not expecting anyone or anything coming out of the box from nowhere in the system. We want something from the system to come change or make it better, make it a better system.
Or
things are already there, just place it, put it at the right place.
Yeah.
Implement
what's already there first.
Thank you, all of you. Unfortunately, Aisha's line dropped. We couldn't reconnect with her. It was very late for her anyway in Vietnam, so thank you, Aisha, for giving us time. Before the show, and over the nights I've done these shows, I'm doing political shows for a while until elections. I was very disappointed, almost hopeless, that this election will not change anything. But after this show, even though Ati and I, a very dear friend of mine, went completely different tangents, we'll fight after the show.
But that was the plan, yeah. Good call.
I've suddenly become very hopeful. Not necessarily from the election, but from who will win. But I think a phenomenal era is about to begin. The last government I today want to thank profusely for letting the 5 years ride. I want to thank Mr. Nawaz Sharif, Mr. Imran Khan, all pro and opposing forces for letting these 5 years ride. Today we had a beautiful conjecture. I'm sitting on state television, which historically has been called controlled television, and having this massive discussion with the real people of Pakistan. I think in the coming years we will see a phenomenal and a beautiful thing. More and more leaders will be facing more and more of you on the internet. They will have to face you. They will have to come on Google Hangouts and show their face. If not, you are in trouble. I think all talk shows will have to shift their gears. Enough of him fighting him. It will now be them facing you. But for that, and I've been begging the Society of Pakistan for 5 years, for God's sake, come take the seat. There came a point when I used to do a current affairs Urdu show, I got so tired, I started doing the show alone. For about a month, I did the show alone, and I used to sit and rant because I said, I'm tired of making people fight for ratings. Please come and take the seat. But no one did. But I believe now, and I want to thank all of you and some other friends who have been coming on the show and setting a new standard. Samra, Sabine, they've all been here. Setting a new trend which I think will continue, and you will be taking the seat. If I'm alive, healthy, if I'm still on TV, my seats are always open to people of Pakistan. Come and speak out. But let's be logical, objective, adult, sensible. And with those last 4 words, I would say use the same 4 words when you vote very soon. Until next time, thank you all once again. Good night.